so my fam, it's been a while. And then this is the festive season where there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be making. We're going to make kids' wears. I love kids' wears. So we're going to make gowns, skirts for kids, and so many beautiful flamboyant bowls. So just stay tuned and get ready to learn a lot. So today, like the gown you've seen behind, that is what we're going to make today. And the pictures you're seeing above, those are the outfits we're going to be making. So stay tuned and enjoy. So let's begin with the basics. So here we're going to start with the measurement, the shoulder to the chest area, 6.5, to the waist, we have 8.5, and then down to the gown length, we have 23.5. So first we'll measure the shoulder, which is 4, then we added 1/2 inch for their sewing allowance. I always add my sewing allowance. And so the bottom part we have 5.5, and then we'll draw from that point down to the 5.5, making sure that it's all 4.5 on the sides. Then we draw a line on this side. Then come out by 0.75, which is same thing as 3/4, and go down by 1/2 inch for the shoulder slant. This is a 6-year-old, and so we'll draw the line all the way to that point. Then measuring what is left, we have 5.5. So measuring what is left is 5 inches. So 5 inches, after I'll take off the half at the top, we'll have 0.25, which is same thing as a quarter. So go in by 0.25 inches and draw that curve to the 0.25 and then to the other side as well, and it's balanced. So we have our armhole. Then the measurement would use 5.5 inches. So I added 0.25 for ease. So that's why I moved backwards. 0.25 for ease, making, say it, 5.75. And then at the bottom part, we did 10.75, which same thing as, 10 3/4. So added all that's 0.25 for ease, and then we're going to add sewing allowance at the side, so it's not too tight on the child. So we now have sewing allowance of 1 inch on all sides, all the way to the bottom part. Then we're going to use our ruler, our curve ruler, to indicate our sewing allowance on the side. So it's always nice if you add your sewing allowance so you don't forget, and enough sewing allowance so that they can be able to maybe loosen it when it's too tight or thereabout. So you added at that side already, so there's no need to add again. And then for our neck depth, we're going to measure the width of 2 inches and then the depth of 2.5. Then we join those two links together. So the reason why I did 2.5, because when I sew it, it will go as deep as 3 inches. So if you want it to go deeper, it's your choice. You can make it 4, you can make it 3.5, and thereabouts. So this is the cutout version, and I'll open it up and you see how it looks when it's opened up like this. Then I notched the areas that will need to be sewn. So I notched the sewing allowance area, I notched the chest area, I notched the waist area like this. So it's always lovely to see the points where you join the two fabrics together. So it's just perfect. So here is the back part. So for the back part, every other measurement is in place. Our shoulder, our chest, our waist, as we said earlier. So see, it's clearer now. 6.5, 8.5, and then 23.5 at the bottom part, like this. Now the shoulder is 8 inches, so divided it by 2, 4 inches, and so 4 inches plus half, which is 4.5 for our shoulder, like we did to the front part. We'll also replicate it for the back part. The difference with the back part and front part is the way the armhole is drawn. So 5.5 inches down, then we will mark it, and also the side 4.5 to ensure that we're on the right spot. Then we draw a line from top to that point and then the side, like this. So we'll come out 0.75, same thing as 3/4. And then we use our curve ruler. So now we're not going in, we're just going to draw straight up and we're done. So now for our neck width, which is 2 inches, so mark 2 inches, and then the depth of, okay, our shoulder slant, mark it and then rule from that point all the way down. Like this. So make sure it's on the line of the slant, and then go down by 1 inch. Then we use our curve ruler to blend those 2 points together like this. Then every other thing we did to the front, the measurements we took would also replicate here. So 5.75, 5.75, so both chest and waist are the same measurements. But the bottom part 10.75 like this. Then we link up our waist down. So don't pay attention to that extra at the side, there's no need for it, that's the wrong curve. So added 1 inch like we did to the front part all the way down. So right now I'm just measuring around the armhole, which is 6 inches, right from the shoulder. So I'm cancelling out that so you know it's not part of it. So we're going to add our sewing allowance at the top, which is 1/2 inch on the shoulder, especially on that slant exactly, and then draw it out like this. We already have an idea of how it looks, so let's go to the front part where we're going to put our ruffles. So I measured 4 inches down from the shoulder, not without the allowance, and then slanted, used our curve ruler to slant to that chest area, exactly 1 inch past it. Can you see? Then we now cut it out past the line, that 1 inch. So on the line, 1 inch rim, and then cut it out like this. So add 1/2 inch at that part, 1/2 inch. So indicate that you're going to add 1/2 inch when you're cutting out your pattern. So what I did was, this is how it looks opened up. So I divided everything because I wanted to put 2 different fabrics. I just love the design of it. So I used this fabric here, which is yellow and lemon green, and the other one which is green and blue, and then cut it out and ensured I left allowance, sewing allowance, all around those areas. So because the fabric looks alike from back and front, I made sure I marked it with the chalk to indicate it. So if you want to know more about this pincushion, I have the previous video, you check it out. So here is the back pattern. I added 1 inch for the zip allowance and then cut out the normal back pattern. And then this is for the ruffles. So the ruffles is 19.5 on fold. So if you draw it out, you'd have more than, I think, up to 35, more than 35 inches. So you have this length and would sew it together. So the width is 5 inches like this. And so I joined it together by hiding the stitches, and then I now sewed the rim, the part that is going to be exposed, not the part that will be sewn in. So I sewed it all the way up like this. So I sewed the rim by folding it up more or less 0.75 inches, fold in, and then we're good. Then this is the gathers. So this is how I do my gathers. I just fold it in bit by bit, and when I want it to be tighter, all I have to do is, or probably firmer, all I have to do is just join them together again. So you see how I'll do that as we proceed. So please don't forget to subscribe and like. It helps the channel grow. And tell me, just comment, tell me what you'd want to see, what outfit you want me to make, and if you like this, just tell me how much you like it. Thank you. So here we have our folds. So I did this all the way from the start to the end of it like this. You know, after cutting out that part, you need to also measure it. So I have to join the 2 front parts together. See how it looks? I have to join the 2 front parts together like this to be able to measure around, and like this. That seems like magic. So I measured around it to find out how much length we would need to use to be able to make the front part for the front ruffle to be placed inside. So I measured, and we have 11 inches, and then I tightened it a little bit more since it was a bit long, which gave it more, with ruffles, length is all that matters. You'd have to make so much so that it gets that ruffle, the thickness, how much it is. So you can make the ruffles shorter or longer. For me, I just wanted it to be very busy in front there, so I made it a bit long. And so this is where I'm going to attach, so make sure that the midpoint is on the midpoint, and I made the color different so it to match and not two different colors. So you can see how I blended it. So I added ST on it, iron ST on it, so that it to be flatter. Those parts I joined for the front. Then I can see the ST there, like I showed you. And so I put the ruffle down, place this on it, and now our pincushion will come to play. So we use our pincushion, our needles on the pincushion to bring out and hold it down before we go to sew. So that's the way you can get it, the best way you can get it and smooth. So I pin down this side 1/2 inch all around till we got to the end. In getting to the end, I ensure that I left a part that doesn't have the lining. See, it's that 1/2 inch at the edge that doesn't have that ruffle inside, and pinned it down. Ensure that the edge does not have a ruffle, both in the joining. So you make the ruffle 1 inch shorter. So I pinned it all around like this, and out sew. So this is it after it has been sewn. Can you see how beautiful it looks? It's already beautiful. So I cut out the lining for the back. Here's the lining, and we'll turn it around and sew. So this is how it looks when it's sewn. So I'll sew around the neck like this, around the armhole like this. We're going to be weaving the top shoulder. So same thing with the back. I sewed the zip area around the neckline as well as the armpit hole, but left the side. So this is it after it has been sewn. I sewed it 1/2 inch and then trimmed it, as you can see at the other part where it looks very tiny like that. So for the bottom part not to show the lining, I made sure I shortened the lining. So the lining will be shortened by 0.75 inches. It just seems as though I'm using a lot of 0.75, which is 3/4. But yes, that's it. You can do 1 inch if you want. And so I didn't like how sharp it was at the edge. So I trimmed the sides and made it look a little bit curvy like this. And so would use our scissors on both sides and also trim the other side like I did the first part. So I did the same thing to the front part as well as the back, and this is it when it's opened for the front. And so for the back part, I pinned it down after sewing the rim like I showed you earlier. So I pinned it down. This is where we're going to be placing our zip. So this is the zip I'm going to be using. So all I did was opened up and place the zip. So this is it after a zip is placed. See how beautiful it looks already. So our gown is coming out beautifully. So this is how it's placed, and this is the zip on the back part, and this is it on the front part. So we joined the two shoulders together. So I'll hold it up with the pin so that I'll begin to weave the edges. So if you want to keep it hidden, you can do that. Put it inside, fold it in, sew it in. But I want to just weave the shoulder part. So from here, you see the wrapper parts join together and the linings join together like this. So I'll pin it all around. So one side will be easily sewn because the other side is opened. So after pinning it up 1 inch, remember we left 1 inch sewing allowance. So that's the 1 inch we're going to sew. Thank goodness there's already 0.25 inches. That's a 1/4 inches ease allowance. So there's no need leaving any ease again. So you just sew by 1 inch. So I pinned all around by 1 inch using our beautiful pincushion. Just as I'm just advertising this pincushion so much. So let's go on. And so I pinned all around. So one side will be sewn smoothly because we open up on the other side, and then the other side. So I'm just showing you how the other side will be pinned and sewn. So I pinned it all around. So if you're going to leave a part that will not be sewn, make sure it's in the middle part and not on the lining part and not the fabric. So we sew all the fabric round, but see, we won't leave that bottom part. We'll close it up and make sure it's in the middle part that will be left open for one side, because the other side will be sewn. Like I told you, the front part has a passage, so you can turn it, flip, sew, and it'll be smooth. So this is how it should look. Can you see? Then we'll go to one sew. So this is it after it has been sewn, and it looks as if it's a pillow, a throw pillow that we have to pull out the fabric from inside. So we pulled it all out, and this is how it looks after it's pulled out. So here is the parts that will need to be sewn. So now this is how it looks. Isn't this gorgeous? So I've not pressed it down, and this is it after it has been pressed down, and this is the final look, the back, and then the front part like this. Isn't this gorgeous? And here is the final outlook. I love it. So thank you for watching. Bye.